everybody, back at it again in the old garage. We're going to work on little things here, buttoning up some loose ends on the engine. The alternator in particular, the little magic thing, whirly thing right there. Upgraded it to an internally regulated alternator, like a 10SI style. The original was an externally like 10DN. What does that mean? Not a heck of a whole lot, except for the factory alternator sucked. It put out maybe 40 amps at the most. For the most part, they're like 37, 40 amp alternators, so really not sufficient to keep up with modern demand. So I have electric cooling fans, dual fans, planned around air conditioning on this, and of course wipers on the rare occasion, or obviously lights and everything else. That factory alternator just isn't going to keep up, especially if I do the fuel injection upgrade I hope to do this thing sometime soon. I'm looking into the Holley Sniper setup, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I know the carburetor works, so we're going to run that for a while. But nonetheless, maybe you want to upgrade the alternator or charging system on your early Pontiac to an internally regulated alternator. Super easy, direct bolt-ons, no modifications to the V-belt, accessory drive, or nothing. Bolts right into place. And wiring it in, just as simple. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, well, first off, let's get in here. I've already bolted the alternator on. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it still lines up exactly the same, uses the same tensioner, same pivot, goes all in, bolts direct, no issues whatsoever. Now, the simple wire here, the big lug wire that goes down to the battery, or actually to the starter, that is the same. Hook that back up directly, easy to go. Now, the other thing you want to do, you can do the easy thing, just put little spade terminals you can slide on here. They're positioned labeled 2 and 1. But you can buy these connectors pretty inexpensive online. We're talking about a couple bucks, so it's worth buying. It makes it a lot cleaner install. And the first step is pretty simple. Terminal 2, which is labeled on the alternator, you'll see the number 2 right there. Well, that's going to be the big red wire. That directly goes right back down. I looped it and hooks right back onto this battery stud. So both wires go on that right here. So then all that's left then is what is hooked to terminal 1, which is my white wire here. That has to be switched ignition voltage. So this turns on and off with the key. So basically turns the alternator on and off. So that's something I got to figure out. Now the factory wiring, here's the factory externally regulated wiring. There's 2 wires in here. I'm going to recycle one of these wires and come back here. This is the original plug for the voltage regulator. Now, this is the blue wire we just saw that in, so I'm going to use it to keep things simple and then kind of give you a rundown what these wires are. This wire here, the first position, is actually a brown wire, which not really so much brown anymore. That turns on and off with the ignition. Oh, that sounds familiar. That's what we need. So we're going to hook the blue wire and the brown wire together. Then we're going to take this blue wire and hook it to the white one here. That should make this thing charge. But I'm going to undo the plug, pull apart nicely, because I plan on using this plug for another little something special here. I've got cooling fans. Like I said, I talked about electric cooling fans. Well, I've got a little prize here. I'm going to use the voltage regulator housing and plug to create a hidden spot for my cooling fan and AC fan relay. So I'm going to have to recycle this plug, so I'm going to try to salvage it. But at this point, I'm going to pull what is the brown wire and blue wire out, hook those together. And this one here is actually a black with a red tracer. It's kind of hard to tell, but I promise that it is. It looks like gray and brown, but that is a hot at all times. That's hooked directly to the battery. And this is a wire that goes to the other end of this one here. So again, hook those 2 together, put that on here, and we'll make sure this alternator works. There's something else I wanted to show you. On these plugs, you can actually take these plugs apart, replace the ends inside, but I want to salvage this 4-pin plug because I have another plan for that. That's be the next project that we try to conquer. But all you have to do is in the top side here, you slide a tech driver in this side here. There's a release metal tab on that plug. And basically just slide all this in here, push it in, give it a little wiggle. See if I can do it with one hand. That's an even more impressive trick, but and then there you go. That comes out. So what I was actually doing was, if you look here, put that plug down. That little tab, you actually just got to depress that. It gets bent a little bit. You can see it's flat now. So before you reinstall it, if you're going to reuse it, just kind of bend that thing back up. Now, I'll do the same thing here with the brown wire. Get it pulled out. I'm going to splice these 2 together. Now, I'm going to do the same little trick at this end. Like I said, we attach the blue wire to the brown wire at the other end. So I'm going to release the terminals out of these, pull this white wire completely out, and I should be able to actually push the blue wire into my plug here and make it a, you should say, without having to put a splice in it, a whole lot cleaner installation. So let me get these popped out of here next. Now that should be as simple as pushing this one back into that terminal there, plug it in the alternator, and see if it starts charging. Okay, I've got that plug inserted into that, so blue wire should be turned on off with the ignition now. So all I can do now is plug this in, fire it up, and see if it's charging. All right, here's my meter. Got it hooked up. 12.6, 12.5, kind of fluctuating. So the battery's in pretty good state of charge currently. But as long as this new alternator is working and wired correctly, that should hit probably, about 40-some degrees of garage. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 14.5 volts. So as long as this thing will start, we'll see what we get here. And as long as it comes up, our job is complete. All right. So there you have it. The old alternator is working just fantastically, making the juice there for it to keep the battery charged up. 14.5 volts, probably not too far out of whack for a car that's actually about 40 degrees in the garage, and battery is recovering a little bit after starting. So a little high, but still within acceptable range. The colder it gets, the higher that voltage is going to hit. So it's can't really see my breath. I can, but it doesn't show up in the camera. But probably about 42, 43 degrees warm in the garage here today. So next thing we're going to mess with is probably the cooling fan. So I'm going to wire that in. I've got a little prize on that there. I'm going to hook it up through a custom hidden relay panel that's going to hide inside the old voltage regulator since I don't need it anymore. That way the factory still has the firewall still has a factory look. That's kind of was the goal here, and kind of like, that's kind of cool. But I'll get you on that next video go around. Of course, keep in mind, I've got some t-shirts. I'll put a little picture of them up here for you to check out. If you'd like to get one of those, hit me with the messages. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to sell or market those, but if you'd like to have one, got plenty of large and extra large, white and black. No. If not, no big deal, no worries. Appreciate you following. If you like what you see, hit the like button. You got some friends that might find this stuff interesting, please share it with them. I'd like to see this thing happen because I'm down to less than 1 subscriber per day at my annual mark to hit the goal of 1,000 subscribers. So I think we're going to do it. So, man, I appreciate you following me. Anything else I can help you with on your progress of your cars, let me know. I'll do the video up just the same. Like to keep these cars going, keep you motivated. Definitely one of the biggest goals of this channel. Of course, I just love these old Firebirds. I want to share the stories with you. And, of course, keep you motivated on your project. So, anyway, I've said enough. I'm going to get the heck out of here and warm back up. And we will see you next time.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in the